Okay, here's what I have to say about phrasing. Basically, everyone in here knows how to phrase very well, or else you wouldn't be able to speak that well. Just about every time you talk, you phrase. Now, I won't go heavily into this, but when we made that list of notes and rhythm and technique and all that stuff, all of those can be phrased. But like Anthony said, most of the time we only think about phrasing with notes, right? And I'll take that a little step further and say that most of us bass players don't think about phrasing at all when it's time, especially when it's time to solo, all right? So I'm just gonna address that a bit. I'm just gonna address that. And I'm gonna play, we're gonna play a blues, and Joe, if you don't mind, I'm gonna have you take a solo over a blues in F. Okay, I think this is the right tempo. 1, 2, to F. Okay, how did Joe know that we were ready to end it? It was because of the phrase we played, right? Music is a language, and we played an ending phrase. Everybody knows that that means ending, right? That's how you can speak with this language we call music. Okay, Joe, I'm gonna ask you to do something now. What I'm gonna get you to do is I'm gonna put you on a spot a little bit, is I'm gonna have you turn your bass down, okay? All right, just turn it off or down, and we're gonna play the exact same thing. And I want you to either loudly or softly sing a great jazz solo. Think of that, the favorite players or the way you would love to play, and I want you to sing, all right? Okay, and then as you're doing that, I'm gonna ask you to do something else. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Right. Okay, Joe, now with your bass still off, start playing along with your singing. Play what you're singing. Don't worry about what you're playing. Just play what you're singing with your bass off. Do it with your bass off first. Because I don't want you to worry about whether the notes are right. All right. Just get the phrases. Don't worry about the pitches. Right. Now, slowly turn up your volume and keep playing what you're singing. Don't worry about whether the notes match. Just match the phrases. Okay, so let's stop for a second. Don't sing what you play. Okay. Because I can hear you going back to playing your licks. Okay. And you're starting to sing what you play. Play what you sing. Okay. So in other words, don't even worry about what you're playing. It's your mind is in singing. And you're just going to allow your hands to follow. It's kind of an opposite of what we normally do. Okay. So play what you're singing. 1, 2, the same thing, ready, go. You hear how already it's more lyrical. Yeah. Nice. You hear what it does? Right. great, Vic. Nice ending, huh? Joe, that was awesome.
Thanks.
I screwed up the ending there, but that was great. Now, that's a wonderful thing if you want to learn how to phrase or want to get better phrasing at your instrument. You already know how to do it with your voice. So allow your instrument to imitate your voice, right? The one thing that's going to do, Joe, the cool thing about you is you have a lot of amazing technique. You can play fast, you can play through changes and things like that. So for someone like Joe, you have the same issues I have. I want to play fast all the time, right? But if I ask someone to sing, we don't start going to sing. We sing lyrical. So for you and for my own self, we need to practice slowing down and becoming more lyrical. And the best, well, I don't know if it's the best way, but a great way to do it is to imitate our own voice. It forces you to breathe, and it forces you to be lyrical. So the number one thing I say, if you want to learn how to play lyrical phrasing, start singing and play what you sing. All right? Phrasing is usually a lot better when it's simpler because the normal person can understand it. All right? A lot of times if I'm playing a blues, one more time. One, if I play this, 1, 2, that gets the biggest applause all night. You know, even if I quote Bird or something, it's that little simple thing that grabs the people because everyone, old and young, even if you've never heard that song, that grabs you because it's simple.
Speaking of recognizable phrases, one of the things that Victor does that I like is he'll take a recognizable phrase or melody from a phrase and play his own notes to it.
Ah, that's a good one. Let me demonstrate that. Hopefully the cameras are rolling. Same blues, okay. All right? Now I'm gonna take that same doom, but I'm gonna just change the notes, all right? So I got this. This know that? Ah. So I just took 3 recognizable tunes, at least to me, and I used the phrasing of that tune to give me ideas, to give me something to work off of. You know, and live, we'll take even like a speech that we all know, and we'll play that together using our own notes, but rhythmically and phrasically, that's a new word, phrasing-wise, we can stay together because we're all playing the same phrase. You know, it may be a whole speech that we all know.
And the audience never knows.
The audience has no idea what we're doing. They don't know how we're staying together because we're playing all these different weird notes, but rhythmically and phrasically, I like that now, we can stay together by all knowing and playing the same phrase. So phrasing is a cool thing if we study it and get it and learn about phrasing from the inside out. Cool. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, go. Three notes. Anything. Yeah. I'm going to talk about space or rest or not playing at all. I like to steal a quote from the book, The Music Lesson, where it says, music is a lot like life. You have to put some rest in there. And it's very, very true. If there was no rest in music or space, all the music ever played would still be playing, if you think about that. All right? We learn what a rest is early on in our musical lessons. We learn quarter notes, eighth notes, quarter rest, and eighth rest. But pretty much after that, we're done with it. All right? And quickly, a rest only becomes a short period of time until I can play the next note. All right? And that means we're going to rush through the rest so I can play the next note. But to me, a rest is a note. It's just one that you don't audibly hear, but you feel it. And that's what our audience is doing anyway. They're feeling our music. And so we need to play the rest. We need to find exercises that teach us how to play rest. How do you play space? That's different than just letting time go by. Learn to play the space, right? That's why I was saying when I was phrasing and I was having melodies going in my head, but I wasn't playing them all, right? Now to the listener, they're hearing space go by, but I'm playing during that space, at least in my head, right? So if I was going to play 4 quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And if I was going to put a rest on the third one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, my body plays that rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to feel that rest in order not to rush or slow down. A lot of us just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We're just ready to play that next note. So I'm going to throw that out there first, is to start playing rest and space. You ever think about a baby that's sleeping? And the baby's sleeping, there's all kinds of commotion going on, noise. I've got 4 kids, so I've seen it happen. And we probably do it also. We can sleep through any commotion as long as it's constant. Vacuum cleaners, TV, traffic, trains going by. But if all that noise stops, you wake up. Now, how does that happen? How can you be shaken awake by nothing? Okay? Understanding space in that way can cause you, or can allow you to cause your audience to wake up also. All right? By creating space. A lot of us, it's time for us to play or solo, we want to come in banging, which is possible. But you have to think about it. Everybody has soloed by this time. It may be wise to create space, which will suck your listeners into you. All right? That's a cool thing. So we're going to try an exercise right now. And all we're going to do is we're going to play a scale, right? We're going to play, let's say, let's go ahead and go to E. E major scale, right? 7th fret on the A string, and we're going to just play 1, 2, 3. And we're going to, let's say we're going to repeat the top note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do it slower and quiet. So like here, play with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, the next time we start over here, we're just going to leave the first note empty. Just play a rest. 1, 2. All right. 1. No, we'll do it here. 1. Right? But play that rest. All right? Make sense? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play that whole scale. The first time, we'll play the whole scale. When we come back to the beginning, the first beat is a whole. The next time we come by, only the second beat is a whole. So we play the first one, leave the second one as a whole. And we're going to go through the whole scale that way, alternating which beat is a whole. Does that make sense? Any questions? No? Okay. We'll start from the scale. Play it all the way through, but when we get back to the bottom, the first note is a whole. Then the second note. 1, 2, ready, go. Whole. Now the second beat. Now it's going to be the third beat. 1, 2. Fourth beat. 1, 2, 3. Fifth beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sixth beat. Yes. This time the seventh beat. Eighth beat. My fault. Ninth beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. 10th beat. 11th beat. Speed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12th beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13. Leave the 13th open. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 14, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Last beat this time. Nice, nice. Right? Okay, now we just did that exercise with a line that we were all familiar with, which is a scale. All right? I suggest you start doing this with your lines. Okay? With your own lines. And if you want to make it a little harder, do the same exercise we just did, but start with all rest. Okay? We started by playing all the notes. You want to start with all rest. Okay? So in my head, I'm going do 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 do. Right? So I have to keep time with nothing going on for a long time, and I have to play a lot of rest in my head. Right? This will get you used to actually playing the rest and playing the space. Does that make sense? Okay? It's a really good thing to practice. And again, it's one of those things that no one will ever teach you to do. There's not a book out there on space or on rest in music. No one's teaching us how to do it. But Miles Davis became famous because of it. As Miles got older, he started playing less and less. The notes were wrong, supposedly wrong because they weren't in the key, but that became cool, right? Out of key and hardly playing anything, right? But that spoke to people. If you want to speak to people, you have to put space in your music, all right? And that's just one or a couple exercises. The rest you'll have to make up on your own because they aren't out there. But I urge you to do it. Space. Play a bass line, then I'm going to start adding in more space than notes. Okay? That works too. Yeah, we could do a whole video really on space, because that's the key. Space and dynamics and listening. Man, once you get those three, you have to listen to make any of them work. But space, dynamics, and listening, to me, out of that whole list, those are the three key because they're really one and the same. Space and dynamics. Using dynamics either creates space or takes up space. And they're both necessary. And you have to listen to do it. But those are the ones that are so under-practiced, under-talked about, they're under-taught,
Those three things, that's the essence of being an accompanist. That's what being an accompanist is all about. Of course, you got to be listening to the soloist or the lead person. And dynamically, you have to be prepared to give them more or less as the situation needs. Of course, space, so that's the essence of being an accompanist.
It just dawned on me. Joe, you told me something the other day about something that, I don't know if it was, you did a recording session or something and a guy said something to you? If you don't mind sharing that.
Yeah. Sure. I was doing a session and I was just playing the bass line, playing the pocket, feeling the groove, purposely just trying to make it feel good, period. I wasn't trying to be flashy, wasn't trying to add any turnarounds like we all tend to do. I wasn't doing anything. I was just playing the groove, and it felt good. A little while later, the vocalist came over and said, "Joe, you think you could play a little more?" And I was like, okay. He asked me to play more. That means he's not aggravated with me because I'm not playing too much.
Right.
So I embellished it a little more because we all like to indulge. So I just started thinking where it would feel good and add a little more here and there.
Yeah.
But I thought it was nice that he asked me to play more as opposed to play less.
Right.
Which then it's too late. Like you were saying, you had said it once before, they're already a little annoyed if they're asking you to play less.
Yeah.
or something.
Right,
A little more
exactly.
stressed if they're asking you to play less.
You just nailed it. If they're asking you to play less, they're probably already a little bit annoyed. You said it beautifully. But it's rare that we ever get asked to play more. And I view that as a compliment.
Yeah.
A compliment if someone's asking you to play more.
That just shows your musical maturity, that they could see that,
Yeah, so that's cool. So that's our assignment for today. Next time I play, I'm going to be asked to play more. Whew. I don't know if I can do that.
There have been instances you asked me to play more when we were on tour.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I do that quite a bit. With musicians, sometimes, a great drummer that I work with, Derico Watson. Great drummer. When I first met Derico, he was teaching high school in Michigan. And I played with the high school band that he was helping teach. And we also did some solo playing together. And Derico was a fascinating player. I think he was maybe 24 at the most when I met him. And he had as much chops as anybody. But he overplayed. He just overplayed. It would be like I'm talking to Anthony, but he's talking every time I talk. When somebody's talking, you have to listen and support, And Derico just wasn't doing that as well as I knew he could. And so after the show, we had a little talk, and I thought, this guy is too good not to say something to him, because he could be the world's greatest if he would just develop this one little thing. And I told Derico, I said, when you watch the video of us playing, look at it as if we are having a conversation. And all I said to him is, I said, watch what you do every time I start to speak. And right then he got it. Didn't have to go any further than that. He knew it already. And he was like, I step on you every time. I said, right. I said, if you were to study another good friend of mine, J.D. Blair, I say, if you were to study what J.D. Blair does, J.D. Blair to me is one of the world's greatest drummers. And it's because of space. And if you ever get to a chapter in the book, The Music Lesson, on space, you'll notice there's a drummer in there that goes